Welcome to Built for This. I'm your host, Brian Briscoe. My podcast features captivating conversations with intriguing people who have found purpose in their lives through their career, family, or life experiences, and just why they were built for this. Through the stories that you will hear, I trust that you will be inspired and encouraged to find just what you were built for. So let's get started. And welcome again to another edition of Built for This. Welcome into the studio. And we're going to be talking books and fantasy fiction. I have a guest. She is Ashley Frerking, and she is the author of this book. First of all, The Traveler and The Queen's Road. We'll be talking about these in just a few minutes, and one more coming in October of 2026. But Ashley is my guest, and thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much.
I want to talk about, now we go back a number of years when I was working in the book publishing industry in Dallas, and you were on the staff there, and that's where we first met. And then to my surprise, not too much of a surprise, but I knew you were going to write something someday, and sure enough, here comes along this lineage book series. But before we talk about these books, I want to go back to your background a little bit, and then we'll talk about your love of writing. But you started out, I thought it was fascinating that you start out your family of missionaries. So talk about growing up in Kenya.
Yes,
before
Kenya.
you come back to the United States.
Okay.
What was that like?
It was amazing. I miss it sometimes. It was so simple there, and everyone was so friendly, not so fast-paced as it is here. But yeah, there were missionaries there for over a decade, and in Nairobi is the capital. And me and my siblings, we moved over when we were pretty young and went to high school there, graduated from there. So, yeah.
So are they still in the missionary work?
They are not. They've moved back.
Yeah.
They've been back a while, a lot longer than it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but they're here in the States.
Now, was it, before we talk about you moving into writing, because then I know you go on to Dallas Baptist University, and then now we are a book writer and a mom. What did you capture, or what did you take from your time in Kenya? Maybe it was the landscape, the people, whatever, that might have influenced what would now become your writings.
Yeah, I think definitely a lot of the landscape, what I imagine as my world looks more like rural Kenya with the rolling hills and kind of dusty and dirty and not flat, just very like hilly. And even some of the villages that I imagine kind of come from what I've seen in Kenya.
Really?
Just the local little villages and townspeople kind of is what comes to mind when I create the world of Amaranaca.
Did you, and I love that name.
Thank you. It's a mouthful.
Did that come from any particular thing?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think
it's kind of America, but it's not.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think at the time when I first created the name of the world, I was reading through, I don't know if you've heard of it, but the Inheritance saga, and that country is called Allegasia. So I think I was pulling some from that.
And this book, or these books and these are fantasy fiction, if you want to throw them in a genre, were you always attracted to that fantasy world when you were growing up and imagining where you might live and write?
Yep, I definitely was.
Yeah.
I grew up reading Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay.
And I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Yes.
So since I love reading and watching those types of things, that's where I get my inspiration of what I want to write about. So, I don't know. I feel like it's easier for me to imagine and write stories in that kind of setting with horse riding and sword fighting and bow and arrows and just a hint of magic, not too much. But yeah, I think it's easier to create those escapism type stories in fantasy worlds.
So The Queen's Road starts this series, this lineage series that you go. And so how did you get the initial thoughts that, okay, this is how I'm going to start this out?
I think going back to Chronicles of Narnia, this starts off similarly in that the main character is in the real world, our world, and she's magically transported to Amaranaca. And so I don't know. I just think I'm hearkening back to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes.
So wanting to introduce the world to my readers that way, of kind of anchoring it in something they know before transporting them to something completely foreign.
Yes. So again, are you portraying yourself, stepping behind that
Yeah, a little
scene
bit.
into
Yes.
the
Yeah.
imaginary?
Yeah. So at the beginning, the main character, her name in the beginning is Melinda,
Melinda.
but she becomes Morwen.
Ah.
And so she feels very out of place in our world and doesn't quite understand why. And so it kind of that came from how I felt in high school sometimes.
Okay.
Like, oh, wouldn't it be great if I could just be whisked away and feel like I finally belong somewhere? And I think that's something that a lot of missionary kids struggle with is like your identity.
Yeah.
They're called third culture kids sometimes when you like come from one place and then you're trying to put down roots somewhere else. So there's like a blend of identity. Even to this day, people ask, where are you from? And I'm like, well, do you want the long answer or the short answer? Even though it's been years since I've moved back to the States, there's still a part of me that identifies with being from Kenya.
I want to talk about that identity thing and you growing up that way. As a writer, is it easier to write a story like that when you can make it imaginary, even though you're really maybe perhaps portraying a lot of things that you struggled with or that was a challenge for you?
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't ever thought about that. But yeah, it's kind of a way of processing it and making those feelings more realistic, probably, of like the half belonging and like not really sure where you would end up. So yeah, I think so.
So missionary kids, what was the big, what are the biggest challenges when, I mean, I think a lot of people can identify with that, that you're living completely out of what you would normally be living, and it's perhaps not for a long period of time. But so what challenges for you personally that you might have been able then to translate to the character, the main Melinda?
Yeah, I think just really identifying who you are and where you come from, but I think just learning to accept that that's okay to be like a blend of so many different things and identities, you know? Yeah, just like fitting in, knowing what that means to fit in somewhere new. Like once I graduated high school, I moved back, but my family wasn't really here. So just like feeling kind of adrift and like, yeah, just kind of trying to reestablish who I am and yeah.
Do you think that that's why, or maybe you can answer this, but do you think young people are more attracted to reading a fantasy fiction type thing because they can perhaps identify themselves in some of these characters, or it's that escapism that I can just for a certain period of time, I can be in this imaginary world?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because I do call those books, especially the first one, more of a coming of age type book, like moving from childhood into adulthood and like, what is your place in the world?
Yeah.
So I think that would attract young readers that could be wrestling with some of the same things like in high school or middle school of like, who am I and do I belong here? And like, how does that all play out?
What was it that prompted you to decide, okay, once you got back, decided I'm going to sit down and I'm really going to dive in and write these novels and create this story, this journey?
Yeah. Actually, I wrote The Queen's Road when I was still in Kenya.
Is that right?
But then I had to dust it off and like really spruce it up because it was not great in the beginning. But so I revamped quite a bit of it. But I think just being in the States, like it's the land of opportunity still. So just feeling like I could get this work out there now. Whereas in Kenya, I would just write something and then sit on it until I could come to the States and like start submitting places, and just getting my work out there seemed easier and more attainable.
I want to talk about that as a writer, finding the time to write, inspiration, the timeline. For you and for a lot of people, it'd be like you start something and it could be years before it comes to
the light.
fruition. Yeah, sees the light in anything like this.
Yeah.
What keeps you motivated during all of that time?
Oh, that's a good question because I do struggle with motivation.
Yeah.
I think seeing a complete work like this does give me motivation, and knowing that it will end up somewhere and not just sit on my computer.
Yeah.
That motivates me. So now that these are out and the third should be coming out soon, I'm working on another book that'll be a romance. So I think seeing things like this come to fruition encourages me to keep going with the other things that are still kind of on the back burner. Yeah.
And I haven't mentioned, well, we kind of teased it a little bit, that the third book of this any tips about what? I guess it just continues on.
Yes.
With this journey. Mm-hmm. We don't want to give it all away, but it's coming in October of 2026 to continue on with this. Will that be the end of this journey?
I don't know. Yeah. So they're kind of like Chronicles of Narnia in that it's the same universe but different characters.
Right.
And it's called the lineage series because there'll be a main character in each that's a descendant of the original. Yes. So Morwen's in the first one. Correct. And then it'll be a great-grandson that's one of the main characters. There's still a female that's the main in the second one. Her name is Tura. Tura the Traveler. That was the original title.
Right.
And then this third one will have another descendant of the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a princess, but yeah, I don't really want to. There's so many plot or like
subplot.
If the twists happen early, I don't really want to give anything away.
No.
But yeah, she starts off just kind of discontent with her life, and then she decides to run away, and then things happen.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's very vague.
I like that tease. No, people are going to find the books and order them up. So let's go back when you and I are working at this book publishing company, and I thought you probably would be a writer someday, want to do something like that. When did you feel in your lifetime? I mean, I know you said you wrote the first book while you were still living over there. When did you feel like that this is something I'm going to really do, and maybe that's going to be my purpose? When did you feel that
probably,
urging?
Yeah, probably middle school, high school area. Yeah. I don't know. I have fun doing it. I feel like I know my writing may not be incredible, but any talent I do have, I feel like is God-given. Yeah. And so I want to hone it more and more. Even I've been reading through The Queen's Road again. Okay. And I can tell I've grown a lot as a writer since then.
Have you seen yourself?
Yes, which is good, and that's encouraging. So
absolutely.
And I have always heard, and I believe it to be true, that reading a lot helps you to become a better writer. Yeah. So I definitely, that's not why I read a lot, but it's a motivation to read a lot too.
Well, that's interesting you say that after you read the first book, and then into the second book. So what have you learned about yourself as a writer now that you've done the third book? Obviously is coming too, but what have you learned at this stage about yourself as a writer?
Maybe like just making things more believable, like not so much dialogue. You don't have to flesh out every single moment of a character's life. It's okay to skip around a little bit. Yeah. To not drag people down with all the details. Yeah. I'm currently reading a Brandon Sanderson book, and there are a lot of times that he skips around. Okay. And a lot of times you're like, that scene was over. Like he'll just move ahead. Yeah. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it keeps you engaged. So I'm kind of learning to do that as I'm reading more and writing more, that I don't have to include everything, and just making it sound more like the dialogue, especially how people actually talk. Yeah. And what people actually want to read about, because some books can be way too detailed about things, and it's like, okay, I get it, you can move on now. So trying not to be that way to my readers.
Well, now this genre, though, it seems to be just one that's fascinating to so many people. Certainly the younger readers are attached to this. What do you think it is that's really grasped younger readers, and not just younger readers? I mean, I think my daughter would be all over this. Yeah. And she's in her 40s. But what is it about this genre, The Lord of the Rings, The Chronicle of Narnia, that captures the fascination of readers?
I think, one, just escapism, because it's nothing like what we live in now. But I also think, because a lot of times, like with spiritual warfare or something like that, you can't see any of that. It's all in the head or the heart. Yeah. But things like this, there's actually forces of evil against forces of good. The light and dark are actually clashing. Yeah. So being able to see that played out, I think, excites people, and it just puts faces to like the forces of good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I love Lord of the Rings. I feel like there's so many moral lessons you can take from it. Just honor, perseverance. Like the ring can kind of be a personification of sin and its destruction. So like their perseverance in destroying it, no matter the cost to them. Yeah. I think things like that are so relatable that they're fun to watch played out in a book or on the screen.
Do you think in our society that we're living in right now that it's because we are so, sensitized with digital stuff, and it's immediate and it's fast, and it's just, we're bombarded with so many things.
Yes.
That is it important for writers to make sure that you are illustrating those things that you just said, forces of good and evil? How can we show that those really do exist?
Yes. Yeah. I think it is beneficial to like draw a line in the sand and be like, this is like, I'm not going to go any further than this, like this is where I choose to make my stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you when you're writing and being a mom at the same time?
Yeah.
I mean, you have 3 boys. I know that's a challenge.
Yeah.
So writers find their ways and their time to write. How do you find your creative moments, or do they just come and you say, I've got to do this?
No, you can't. Yeah. I wish I could do that, but it's a discipline, just like anything else beneficial, like working out. You can't just wait till you feel like it, because that may never come.
Yeah.
So I try to do it during my boys' rest and nap time in the middle of the day. I'll get them down for their naps, or, just their quiet time in their room, and I'll just sit down and write for half an hour. Yeah, I have to do it. So I don't always, because again, just being a mom, and I'm trying to make an audiobook version of The Queen's Road. So that's kind of taken priority, and I have an editor working on book 3. So when she comes back with edits, I'll have to, set the new stuff aside to work on that. So as long as I'm doing something creative like that every day, or I'll try to like further my books somehow, then I call it a win.
Okay.
Yeah. Some days the nap wins and I have to just lay down, but hopefully those days are fewer.
Okay. So being a mom and being a writer who's creating characters with storylines, and you've got to develop them out. Does that play into it sometimes? Do you write in things about younger characters or moms or relational type things that you experience yourself with your own family? I
don't think so, actually.
No,
but I do think about, I feel like a lot of books are out there are not the cleanest. And so certain people can't read them because it's like, well, I don't want to be putting that into my head. So my books are clean. And so if my boys were to pick up these books, I would not have a problem with it, because I try to stay away from anything that might be questionable.
When you started the series, The Queen's Road, and did you have a vision of, okay, I can see it, I think I know how I want this to start? Or how does that start for a writer when it's like, I think I see this? Are you seeing it 3 books at a time, 1 at a time?
Probably just 1 at a time.
A couple pages at a time?
Yeah, a couple pages at a time. I think.
How does that work?
Yeah, I do start off with the big picture.
Okay.
How it'll start, how it'll end, and then maybe some key points in the middle. Like sometimes I'll write important scenes ahead of time to kind of give me some plot points to hit along the way. But then I just flesh it out a page at a time, day at a time. And I've read and heard that your first draft is usually your worst. So just get it out, and then it's easier to edit what you have than create the new. So, and then I did have ideas for all 3 of these books long ago, at least like the basic ideas. And then they've changed over time, and the characters come alive and they kind of do their own thing, and you have to just accommodate them.
Well, I was going to ask you about that as in the writing process, as you're going along, have you been surprised as like, oh, wait, I think this is going to be the turn that this character does?
Yep, I definitely have been. Things just come up, or a new character will come along, and you just have to kind of let them decide how it's going to go. Has
it changed the storyline along the way? That's like, I didn't think it was good. This is not what I had in mind.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Like the one I'm working on now, it's changed a lot.
Really?
Yeah. And because I realized it was way too short with a lot. I think I thought it would be much longer. So I spent a lot of time with the beginning of the story, and then the middle kind of was over too quickly, and then too much time on the like climax and wrapping up of everything.
Right.
And I was like, there's a lot in here that I could still expand. So it's definitely grown and evolved a lot, but I think it's much better than it was.
What about for you when you started this and got into it? Now you're, like you said, you're at the 3rd book about to come out. How has it changed you? You said you've changed as a writer. How do you think it's changed you over all these years of going through this process and then learning about who you are and what you've become, kind of what your purpose is? Has it changed you as a writer
Yeah,
along the way?
I think so. It's just reminded me of the importance of diligence and discipline.
Yeah.
And just because you're passionate about something and feel like it's what you're made to do doesn't mean it's going to be easy. But just because it's not easy doesn't mean you shouldn't do it and should stop, because there have been times that I just get so discouraged with like, no one's ever going to read this or like it. And like, why even bother? So having to fight through those feelings of like, no, I do enjoy this, even though it's tough. And they are getting out there more and more, but also that's not the end goal. You know, like I don't have to be famous or rich or, you know, my name doesn't have to be known. It's just, I enjoy doing it, and the people that do read it like it. So if I can benefit them in some way, then that should be its own reward.
So you're getting self-fulfillment from it, and not necessarily just for readership.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's on the horizon for you? Without giving away, you said you're writing a romance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a high school story of a football player and a girl who, this girl is also kind of an outsider, and she's new to the town. So that whole cliche of the new girl and the popular guy, and it's just a lighthearted, simple little high school romance. And there's elements of faith involved, and it's just meant to be kind of a light read, nothing near. I mean, these are light, but there's more at stake, you know, with evil and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. You mentioned your faith. So in writing these books, how important was it for you to make sure that the forces of evil and good, light and dark, were very well delineated, that the reader could see the difference in the two? And based on your faith, I mean, how did you play into that using your faith?
Yeah, I did. There is obviously the good and obviously the bad, but even the bad, you can see some elements of good sometimes, or at least what used to be good. And I feel like that's a good reminder for us too, that none of us are perfect. Yeah. So as good as we may seem, we still may have elements of darkness that shouldn't be there, that we're trying to fight through, you know? Yeah. So I have shown that some too, especially in the second one. Just the bad guy may not be like pure evil. He's still human. Yeah. But it's still something that needs to be overcome. Right. Yeah.
What do you try to drive home, or what kind of message are you trying to send to young readers by, making sure that they easily see the light and dark there?
Yeah. Something I did kind of on purpose is I don't really have like a God character, like Aslan would be in Narnia. Yeah. So I just didn't really want to, like, even Lord of the Rings has such strong spiritual elements without there being like a God figure. Yeah. There's always like themes of identity and like, I don't want to say be true to yourself, because, or just fight for what you believe in and be persistent in that, unwavering in your goal, and like just being honest.
Okay, everybody knows, you've referenced it a couple of times now, the Lord of the Rings. You've either read the book or you've seen the movies, the Chronicles of Narnia, people know all of that. From those two particular, what were the main things that you drew from that influence that you like to make sure that you kind of portrayed through your books too?
Yeah, I have an Aragorn character. Okay. An older mentor that like trains Morwen in swordplay. Yeah. And I have like an archery master kind of taking off of Legolas a little bit. Yes. And then, like I said before, with Chronicles of Narnia, starting off in the real world and then being transported, I use that element. I think I'll have to, in a later book, probably bring that back. Someone going the other way. Yeah. Or another hero being pulled back into Amaranaca or something like that. Yeah. Just to play on that theme a little bit more. That's really all I can think of.
Has it helped you, Ashley, when you mentioned kind of early on in your life, the not feeling a part of things? And I think there's so much that is prevalent today with young teens. Either they're going through middle school or high school, or that difficult transition there. Has has this helped you grow from that? And maybe there can be that same message through the characters and the plot lines, that when a 13, 14, 15-year-old sits down to read, that they could get that kind of encouragement from you?
Yeah.
From the book?
Yeah, I think so. Just the coming of age with like moving, I think I said it before, moving from childhood to adulthood, and knowing that to make that transition, you will have to go through hardship. It's not just going to fall into your lap. So highlighted in here is the perseverance and the like continuing on, even though you may not know what's going to be at the other end, just pushing through, and just to keep searching for people that you can belong to, and a group and a cause that you can support and be a part of.
Was that part of your transition back to the States when you left Kenya, come back here? Was there that searching period of time in your life? It was like, where am I going to fit in?
Yeah,
what am I going to do?
I think so. At college, at the beginning, I was quite the social butterfly.
Okay.
Just like searching for which group is the best for me, I guess, and which one will I really settle into. There is that search. And then I think finding my husband at college too kind of solidified like who my people were, basically. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm still fascinated by the whole idea of moving from a real world into this fantasy world, and the escapism idea. Why do you think that, where we are as a society, or readers, but certainly teens, they seem to be looking for their identities and where I'm fitting in? Is it easier, or not easier? Is this a good kind of method or a way for teens can read this, maybe get comfort from it, maybe realize, okay, I'm going through this time of my life, and make it easier in their transition period of time? Yeah,
I think it kind of normalizes that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Other people go through this too. You may not be whisked away to a magical place, but it's still like the hint of magic that it could happen. The wardrobe could open and take you to Narnia. Just that there are things to look forward to and to search for. I think so.
Tura in The Traveler, I want to talk about her. What's the strength of her character and the message that you deliver from her?
Yeah, she goes through some hardship pretty early on, and she has to choose what she's going to do with that, what path she's going to take. And then once she settles on one, she just goes for it. And so I think there is strength just to pursue something like that, even when certain things come in her way and try to block her, she still stays the course. And so I think, she has to be strong to do that and not just crumble and wallow in self-pity.
Is that a description of you going through a lot of these things where you just put your head down and, through this journey sometimes of getting this done?
Yeah, sometimes. Just stay the course, even if you don't know the end result. Yeah. Just fight for what you want it to be, and then just see how it plays out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about in the Queens Road, Melinda, and of course she gets transferred in the name.
Her name? Morwen.
Yes, Morwen.
Yes.
And so what does she portray that people can take away from her character?
I think just it's thrust upon her that she's a princess and she is the only one that can overcome the tyrant that has taken over Amaranaca. And so being told what your identity is can still kind of be overwhelming, especially when she's just used to being one way, and then her destiny is like thrust upon her, kind of like Luke, like, you're the only one that can defeat Darth Vader. You're a Jedi now, like, let's catch you up to speed, can be overwhelming. But again, she does persevere. She's taught all the things, even though she's overwhelmed and feels like she's not making any headway with like learning swordsmanship or horse riding, but then something just kind of clicks and then she becomes who she's made to be.
I'm fascinated by that because I think that relates to a lot of people in real life, that all of a sudden something's thrust upon them that they had no plans or ideas to do, and Maybe it is royalty. Maybe it is some kind of prestigious position that they didn't really want to do or prepared to do.
Yes.
So did the character help with, the storyline help with maybe a reader is reading that thinking, I'm in that position right now and I don't really know how to help keep going.
Yeah.
The persistence of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find something to root yourself in and then just stay the course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if, like I said, even if you don't know the ending, you're still trying to work toward what you think ought to be the ending.
Okay. Beyond what you're working on right now, what's down the road for you? Do you see another lineage series? Do you see more in this genre as a writer, or you just kind of get that inspiration when it comes?
I do have some other ideas. I do need to think of some more for the lineage series. I have a vague idea.
Yeah.
Just like a Robin Hood type character.
Okay.
That's kind of hiding out in the woods. I feel like would fit in this world, but I'm not sure who all would be who, and who the descendant would be, and so that is kind of way back in my mind.
Yeah.
I also have like a crime type book that I've thought about too.
Really?
Just a vague premise.
Yeah.
And I think you joked about it the other day, but it would be cool for like these to become movies.
Absolutely.
Or something. I've started a script on the Queen's Road.
For screenplays?
For screenplays, yes.
Okay.
I got my master's in script writing, so I have a little bit of experience.
Yeah.
So that's a thought, and that would be cool. And making an audiobook of the Queen's Road too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so the screenplay. Now, if you're the screenwriter for it, I've always been fascinated by this, adapting it from the book. How much, being the author of it and the screenwriter, how difficult is it to take anything out from the book to try to make it into a 2-3 hour movie, a script, but just the integrity and authentication of it all. Does that hurt when you're trying to do that kind of thing?
Maybe a little bit, but I also have the liberty of tweaking things if I didn't like how it quite played out before. Yeah. But it's pretty easy. I like adapting from books because you just simplify because they say to show, don't tell. So with books, you can have a lot of internal dialogue and description of scenery, and like you can spend a long time talking about that kind of stuff. Correct. But a script, it's basically bullet point. Yeah, so it's a lot simpler. You mostly just keep the dialogue and then just very simple like headings of who's doing what at that moment. And I think it'd be fun to flesh it all out.
Have you started writing
a little bit?
Some of it? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Would it be different endings, or would it be pretty much follow the story?
Yeah, it'd pretty much be the same, follow the same story. Yeah, but with things like this, epics like that, with with horses and castles and things, a lot of people wouldn't take a chance. Like a lot of producers wouldn't take a chance on something like that because it's a big budget. Correct. Like if someone just started off doing Lord of the Rings right off the bat, and without trusting someone so well, so. It probably, if it ever became a movie, it probably wouldn't be my first thing just because I'd have to prove myself. Yeah. Like prove my skill. Yeah. Someone's not just going to be like, oh yeah, let's spend all this money on this novice little rider over here. Yeah. Get all these horses and people that know how to ride them. And, but maybe eventually someday I think it'd be fun.
Well, you've got big dreams going on right now, but could you have foreseen this? I mean, I'm going to go back 10 years ago when we were last working together, but could you have foreseen that here you are? I mean, you've got 3 books now. I know you've written a children's book as well. And now you're talking perhaps screenplays. Again, is the sky the limit for you? I mean, are you looking for, I want to do this. I want to do this now in life moving forward.
I mean, it would be amazing. I'm not holding my breath. Sure. But I do pray about it because we can pray big prayers. But I think it would at this stage in life, it probably wouldn't even be the best thing because I have the young boys and a husband that has to work full time. Yeah. So later on down the road, that's why I'm keeping the wheels spinning. Yeah. Not giving up, pursuing it, And if it happens, it happens. If not, then it doesn't. But I will be ready if it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I can write the script on the side. So if an opportunity did come, it's like, well, actually, I do have the script already if you want to read it. And so, yeah, just working toward it.
Well, you mentioned motivation and how difficult sometimes it is to that.
Mm-hmm.
But inspiration, I've read a lot about famous authors who wrote a lot of things and it never got published, and it was 10 years later they finally, the Grapes of Wrath shows up, and all of a sudden he writes that, and it's like, whoa, okay, but nothing before that ever happened, whatever. So for you, or as a writer in general, have you just accepted that and realized, this is the life of a writer, that it takes time and takes all the right things to fall in place? And how does that inspiration keep you going?
Yeah, I mean, you hear about J.K. Rowling was rejected like upwards of 40 times or something like that until Harry Potter got into the right hands. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that her writing was bad; it just didn't fit those people. And I've dealt with plenty of rejection, and it makes you want to give up, but I don't want to. Yeah. So that's why I'm pursuing the self-publishing, because it's like, okay, if you won't have me, I'm at least going to get it out there one way or another. So yeah, just remembering that self-fulfillment that I get from it. So it's like, of course I'm going to pursue this. It's a hobby now, but it'd be great if it became something more. But yeah, it is the life of a writer. You just keep trudging, keep your head down, keep writing. And I think the reward is when people read it and like it. Even if it's not millions of people, if it's just 10 and they love it, then that should be enough.
Awesome. Well, again, here's the books. The Queen's Road. This is the first one in the series. I'm getting it right this time.
Yeah.
The Queen's Road. And then The Traveler. You want to get these. You want to go online and get these. These are currently out. And the one that's coming, The Bodyguard's Princess, coming in October of 2026. And so, Ashley, we look forward to the next book coming out, and perhaps a screenplay ahead of that.
Yep.
But thanks for being on the show, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Built for This. Be sure to follow Built for This on your favorite listening platform and share it with a friend. Join me on the next episode when I will share entertaining stories of inspiration, encouragement, and purpose-driven experiences. What are you built for? Built for This is produced and recorded by Heart Media DFW.